Chanda, always a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mateen. Great to be here.
You are a rock star on the stage, Chandar. So today's topic was the art of storytelling. We are in the middle of IIT conference. Almost all of them are technocrats. But art is an important factor to bring into your profession. So wanted to learn from you why the art of storytelling is important and why you picked the topic today.
Yeah, as you said, first of all, thank you for having me. Very kind of you. I think, there's very, very smart people and there's some great minds here. But really, in most decision making, you have to capture the heart to win the mind. And a lot of people, what we have challenges is that we can intellectually grok something and explain something, but it captures the mind, doesn't capture the heart. And a lot of times we associate with how we feel about something before how we think about it. The Greeks talk about ethos, pathos, logos, right? Pathos, emotion before logos, logic. So that's kind of the sequence of that order. And so in today's conference, is very, very some of the smartest people in the world are here in terms of how do they intellectually analyze something. But then if you can put on top of that, putting a framework on how do you say an emotional bend to what they're thinking, then it makes them that much more connected in today's world. And that was the purpose of today's conference, to capture the heart, to win the mind.
Chanda, the other important topic is leadership. And throughout history, we have seen what good leadership can do and what bad leadership can do. But when it comes to your role as a CMO of a good company, it's very, very important because you need to be surrounded with the right kind of people, but more importantly, the good kind of people, right? So, I wanted to learn from you as a CMO, how do you go about processing that?
Yeah, I mean, leadership is a continuous improvement exercise. We call it strive for excellence. But I look at it in three independent ways, right, connected together is, first of all, first part of leadership is hiring some really, really good people that work in your team, right? Great teams play for each other, not with each other. So getting harmony in the organization in terms of people is very important. That doesn't mean that you hire people of the same background. Diversity is great. Diversity of thought is great. But then there's got to be in terms of how they align and how they fit. Fit matters, right? And so for me, in my case, we have amazing heads of product and corporate marketing, brand marketing, growth marketing, etc. that really blends together how do we create an organization, and that's true in every level of leadership. That's number one. Number two is very important that what gets aligned gets achieved, right? And a lot of times we see great people doing great work. Unfortunately, collectively as an organization, we're not producing the output because there's no alignment. Common set of goal setting, common set of outcomes, not activities, outcomes that we're going towards. And that's a really, really important thing in terms of alignment. What gets aligned gets achieved. And third, and the most important part, I would say, of leadership is really having that mindset of supporting people and not managing them. Because ultimately, we all get motivated by money, yes, but it's that intrinsic motivation, that it's recognition. And as a leader, it's very important for you that you have to eliminate hurdles for somebody and you can showcase their success. And there's a great line somebody told me, I've remembered for a long time, that leadership starts when you go from a mindset of getting awards to giving awards. And that mindset of it's somebody else, make others great, is a very, very important aspect. So if you can take these things and operationalize it in your thinking, I think we come directionally forward in a good way.
Very well said. I want to move forward and bring those thoughts to your role as the CMO. Marketing is an integral part of a company. It's not only putting the right perception in customers' mind, but actually executing on the product. So it's a two-way street. It's a double-edged sword. It's not easy. It looks very sexy, but it's also very tough. So some thoughts on marketing.
Well, how much time you got? No, kidding. I think you're right. I think marketing, ultimately, if you have to put the Twitter headline to it, it's really winning the battle for the mind. And you have to capture the heart to win the mind, right? Because the battles of marketing happens in the mind of the buyer, right? So when I ask you, let me ask you one question. When I use the word safety and car, what's the brand that comes to your mind?
Volvo.
Volvo, great. You see, great answer, right? Because right or wrong, they own the attribute in your mind, right? And that's what marketing at the end of the day is. You want to own an attribute in a buyer's mind. So in our case at Coupa, if somebody wakes up and thinks, any CFO wakes up and thinks spend and money and control, I want them to think Coupa, and that's the mission that we are on, right? And successfully so. But you can take all B2B marketing and you can read all the books and do all that. It all boils down to one simple framework, right? It is looking at marketing as a flywheel, not necessarily the historical funnel, which is about driving awareness with the right set of buyers in your buyer personas. And you don't have to go very mass when you're a small company. It's aware, and then converting that awareness into acquisition and driving a set of programs, digital and physical, that converts awareness into interest and giving it to sales for them to close. And The third part of the flywheel is advocacy, is taking your existing customers, showcasing their advocates. Advocacy is flipped. Today, it's not about them advocating for you. It's you advocating for them and their success stories, and how do you create that? Who in turn, they can influence a new prospect. That's what it's a flywheel. And everything we do can be in 5 words, right? You look at that flywheel and says, set up sales to win. That's really what all B2B marketing is about. And people who do that well really do all 3 parts of the framework in a very good way.
I think nobody can say it better than you, Chandar. Always a pleasure. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Mateen. Cheers.